Hi, my name's Greg. I'm a medical health scientist from the School of Health Science. We're going to go through a really basic process that you do every day, eating. You know, that stage where you say to your parents, can I have the McDonald's meal? Can we have takeaway tonight? What actually happens to that food once it enters your mouth? Because you're probably aware of the first couple of stages, but you're probably quite unaware of the long journey that it'll take. So if we consider firstly that mouth, that's where the food will enter the digestive tract, and there's a couple of processes that you're immediately taking part in, and that is chewing the food and also breaking that food down with chemicals or enzymes. And so there's two processes that are occurring from the moment the food enters your mouth: chewing and also attacking with chemical enzymes. Once that food rolls around in the mouth, we go through the process of swallowing, and swallowing enables the food to move from the mouth down to our stomach. Now, it's not an easy journey. It's about 20 or 30 centimetres, and we initiate the swallowing up at the mouth, so we decide that the food is chewed enough. But from the moment that we initiate the swallowing, we progress the food down through the esophagus through a motion called peristalsis. And peristalsis is an involuntary movement of food as it passes through this muscular tube called the esophagus. Once the food enters your stomach, and there's a very number of sizes of stomachs. We can have stomachs that are very large and stomachs very small. This is essentially our cement mixer, is the best analogy. And so food will roll around in the stomach for up to several hours. But it's just not physically rolling around. We've got more chemicals that are being doused upon the food and continuing that breakdown. So the environment is very acidic. It's got quite a low pH. Once the food has been rolled around, and the analogy is a cement mixer, we've now got a substance called chyme. And chyme is very fluid-like, and it can now be passed to our small intestine. And the small intestine is quite long, about 7 meters, and its job is to start to reabsorb all the goodness of the food and start to decide which bits you want to keep and which bits you need to get rid of. So the small intestine is really an absorption tube. Once our chyme is through the small intestine, we've now got a waste product, and we need to deal with that waste product. But initially there's still a lot of water content. So the waste product will move up through the large intestine, across and down towards the rectum. And this is about a 3-meter journey. And at that process is we're taking water out, we're reabsorbing that into the body, and we're finally coming up with our fecal product, which you generally know as your number 2s. And so at that point, we have a voluntary initiation of going to the toilet. So the journey really from the mouth to the rectum is quite a long journey that involves breaking down a food at various points of the mouth and the stomach, absorbing of nutrients, and then finally dealing with the waste products before we can move on to our next meal.